Hey guys, it's Dan, your host of your Dan's Reviews, and today I'm back for another video for The Walking Dead. This one is going to be doing my weekly throwback review for this week's episode of The Walking Dead Year of the Dead series. This is for The Walking Dead Season 9 premiere titled A New Beginning. Okay guys, just going to be doing another video for today. This one's going to be doing another video for The Walking Dead. And in today's video for the Year of the Dead series, we're going to be doing our review for The Walking Dead Season 9, Episode 1, the season premiere, A New Beginning. So, this one was highly requested by you guys. I think it was like almost 60% of you guys wanted to go ahead and see this one this week. So, I definitely want to go ahead and do this one. I absolutely love this episode. It's one of my favorite starts to a season I think Walking Dead has ever done. And mostly just because of how different it is than everything else. The tone of the show, the feel of the show is very different in this episode. And even like, kind of going back and revisiting this episode again, I really realized that, is that the tone is very, very different. So basically, this is what happens in this episode. We are a year and a half, if I'm not mistaken, a year and a half after the war with Negan and the Saviors. And you basically have the communities in this one. You've got the opening scene with, Rick and Judith and Michonne and all that. And, Rick is requesting a run into the city, right? So you got everybody that's kind of going, and they all kind of meet up in the city, which is really cool. And you can see all kind of the different splinter groups and different characters and stuff like that, which I think is really, really cool. So we get the new intro, and then we're right back with our characters inside of the museum, which this was a really cool environment for the episode as well, too, as they kind of get some of the farming tools and, stuff like that for, the hilltop, because, it's a very, like, medieval style, type season, and, they have to, kind of get more, medieval style weapons and things like this, not as many guns anymore. So you do have, of course, the scene where they're trying to get the stuff across the glass, floor. And you do have, sadly, Ezekiel that almost dies, almost gets bit. But they managed to save him, and that's when we find out that he and Carol are in a relationship. So that's really cool, and he even offers her, like, hey, will you marry me? But she tells him to put the thing away. So we also see in this episode, as they get everything that they need, we see kind of a bit of a scuffle there on the road with the dead. And basically, you've got this kid, Ken, that, everybody else wants to kind of leave. He does not want to leave, though. He doesn't, he wants to save the horses, basically. And in the Walking Dead world, you do not save horses, because this right here is what happens to you. So, yeah, Ken gets killed, and then the plot kind of thickens in this episode. They then find out that the bridge is out. They have to stay at different communities. And we then see Rick and some of the others go to the sanctuary. Now, they're happy because they're giving them, the food or whatever. So you got everybody that kind of claps for Rick. But you kind of notice that there's a few saviors that are still writing on the wall, "We are still Negan." And obviously, this is kind of when we start to get this whole idea of, potentially the saviors, trying to start another war, some sort of like, civil war. So you've got Daryl that's been in charge of the sanctuary for a while, but you've got Carol that then volunteers to take over for him for a little while, which is really cool. And you've also got them that kind of decide, like, okay, we got to make some better rules, within the community, stuff like that. Yeah, it's really, really cool. So you've got kind of the burial of, Ken, obviously. You've got the parents, Tammy and Earl. And you've got Gregory in this one. So let's talk about the stunt he pulls in this. So he tries to have Maggie killed by getting Earl drunk and then trying to get him to kill Maggie. So Earl is locked up, and Gregory as well is as well too. But Maggie kind of confronts him and even kind of calls him out, like, you're not tough enough to do it yourself. You had to get someone to do it for you. So and they failed miserably. But obviously, Gregory is just not going to stop. He doesn't like that Maggie's in charge of Hilltop. They had this election during the time skip. He still doesn't like it. And he wants to be in charge, end of story. And, he can't even, he's not ballsy enough to do it himself. So Maggie doesn't kill him yet. But, of course, the next day, you see our characters go to Hilltop. You got, Rick and stuff. And she kind of tells, Rick, like, yeah, I've survived a lot worse. But, it's time, to handle some business. So basically what Maggie does, she, kind of gathers everyone together, tries to get everybody to, of course, get the children in bed. She doesn't want everybody to see this. And once that happens, she basically has Gregory up there. She's going to hang him. And, she asks him, any kind of final words or whatever. And he says, killing me like this is because you're ashamed. And Maggie tells him, you're wrong. I'm not ashamed. And you've got Daryl that pulls the cord. So there you go. And they cut him down. And that's how the episode wraps up. So it's a damn crazy episode because, for one, it's a tone change, just the vibe of it, the way they're doing it. I also felt the dialogue in this episode was really fantastic. Like, for example, the scenes, with, Daryl and Rick in this one, talking about how things were and then what things have become and, how things don't feel right. And, some of the scenes, that they've done dialogue-wise in this episode was really fantastic as well. It's a fresh vibe for the show. There's a new logo. There's a new feel. The characters, some of their appearances look different as well, too. It's just really, really cool. So I'm definitely going to say that this is a great episode of The Walking Dead. I thought this was a fantastic premiere. I would say, honestly, in terms of an episode, one of the only things I could say flaw-wise with this one is maybe, I guess it's a bit on the long side. Maybe it could have been trimmed down like a few minutes. But aside from that, I think it was a fantastic premiere. And honestly, Walking Dead Season 9, it's always one of those seasons that, will always be one of my favorites just for the simple reason that what they did this season, how they did it, and how they executed this season was unlike anything we've seen before, And I think that really speaks volumes to what Walking Dead is like, is when, you get an episode like this that, really just almost reintroduces us to The Walking Dead, almost in a way. Because, we had the war with Negan and the Saviors, we had all that stuff, but, even though our characters, no one died, no one like crazy died at the end of season 8, it still feels different, in this episode. It still feels really different. The dialogue is richer than ever. And honestly, I kind of, not going to lie, I kind of miss this from Angela Kang. Because I feel like Angela Kang actually really knew what she was doing in season 9. She really had a really clear vision. Season 10, I would say, mostly as well. I would say season 10, she also had a pretty decent idea of what she was doing. Season 11, I will say, though, for Angela, I don't think that she has been blowing it out of the water. I really don't. I think Angela needs to kind of be a bit more like this, because her writing back here in season 9 was truly her peak. What she did here was really fantastic. So anyway, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. Looking back on this episode now of The Walking Dead after all this time, how does it age for you, and what do you think about it now a few years later? Definitely let me know and write your comments in the comment section below. So of course, guys, if you're new here, make sure to click that subscribe button to know some videos for The Walking Dead. Follow Dance Walking Reviews, subscribe, guys, and of course, I'll see you guys really soon for another video for The Walking Dead. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.
My God, no!